How a Bill Becomes a Law by two anonymous children. So what is a bill? A bill could be a duck bill, or it could be a Bill Chen bill, or it could be a bill on Capitol Hill. In this case, it's the latter, the bill on Capitol Hill. So this bill is a draft of a proposed law presented to either branch of Congress for discussion, so it may become a law. Proposing a bill. So let's say our local congressman, Todd Akin, proposes it in the House of Representatives. He's a Republican, and he's a little conservative, but it's okay. So the bill reads, animals are banned from mating publicly within 1,500 feet of a tavern, school, or place of worship. He proposes the bill. So the Speaker of the House, John Boehner, will place it in a committee. The committee can decide to put it into a further subcommittee if it wishes, but it doesn't have to. So a committee will decide whether or not a bill will be tabled or debated on by the entire House. If it's tabled, it won't be entertained. Most bills never pass that stage. So this guy is the House Majority Leader. His name is Eric Cantor, and he represents the Republicans, and he tries to get Republican bills passed. If he supports a bill, it usually gets passed in the House. This is Nancy Pelosi, the House Minority Leader. She's a Democrat. We like her. She leads the Democrats when arguing against Republican bills. So when they debate, this usually happens. And the usual result is that the Republicans will win because the House is determined by simple majority. So the bill gets moved to the Senate, and this guy, Joe Biden, the Speaker of the House, he basically has the same job as John Boehner, and he delegates it to a subcommittee. So this is the chair of the committee that our bill would go to, and it will be debated on whether or not it should be tabled or moved to the floor. So once the bill moves on to the floor, it can be debated on, and it's exactly the same as in the House, except there are no time limits, which allows for filibusters, which lets a single senator block a bill. So after it gets passed, it goes to a committee that is created to smooth over differences that were created in the bill between the Senate and the House. And then it gets sent to the executive branch. So this bill is sent to the president to sign. He can sign it, which passes it into a law, but he can also veto it, which prevents it from becoming a law. He can also ignore it, and whether or not Congress is in session depends on whether or not it becomes a law. And the bill gets sent back to Congress if he vetoes it. So if the congressmen really want to pass the bill, they can override the veto. And this requires extreme cooperation because the two sides generally don't cooperate. A two-thirds majority is required in both chambers for the veto to be overridden and the bill to become a law. So the executive branch, however, does have checks over the legislative branch. The president gets to decide how the law is executed and implemented. This means if the law was originally intended to have one effect, the executive branch can interpret it so it can have a different effect under the same bill. The judicial branch is also involved, however. It has checks over the executive branch. This group of lovely people holds quite a bit of power because they can deem a law unconstitutional and strike it down. So they can repeal and nullify laws that either Congress or the president passes, thus keeping a check on both Congress and the president.
Created using Powtoon.